Alright, most of you will have already done this page with me in class, but I'm going to go ahead and do page 3. We're going to graph this sine function over here. The very first thing I want to do is I want to find k. And k is going to be my midline. I'll just put that right here. Which is going to be a horizontal line at 1, so y equals 1. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do a dotted line. Then I'm going to find my amplitude, which is based on my a. My amplitude is equal to 3. I'm going to represent that by going over to my midline, going up 3, drawing a dotted line, and going down 3 to -2 and drawing a dotted line. Alright. Now I'm going to find my period. My period is b times 2 pi, and we can see b over here equals 1. So my period is just 2 pi. Now that means normally I would start here and I would go to here, but there is going to be a shift. And the shift is my h, which is pi. Alright. So let me go ahead and list these. My a was 3, my b was 1, my k was also 1, right? And my h, which is a shift, is pi. So I'm going to take these and I'm just going to kind of show you where it goes by moving this to here, right? And moving 2 pi to 3 pi. And these marks are going to represent the beginning and the end of the original period, if I went back to the parent graph. And we know sine starts in the middle, which is going to be right here. Let's mark this into quartiles. So boom, boom, boom. So from there to there. From the middle it goes to the top. From the top goes to the middle. After 2 quartiles, after 3 quartiles, it's at the bottom and then back. And it looks like I could continue this, and I might as well, in every direction. So I went down here, back to the middle, back to the top, and I get a graph that looks a little bit like that. And we're done. I have a few maximums, a few minimums. I see there's probably a maximum at, well, we got negative pi halves dash 1, right? We got one at 3 pi halves 1, and then one down here at, what is that, 7 pi halves and 1. I can see them all over here. And we got some minimums. It looks like pi halves and -1, and what is that, 5 pi halves and -1 as well. And I'm going to keep going. Alright, coming down here to cosine, do the same thing. Alright, got a decent pace going. Let's see how much time we got. We have used, I don't know where it's at. Oh, it looks like 3 minutes. Maybe I'm wrong. Looks like 3 minutes. Not too bad for a problem. So I'm going to come here. Once again, my k equals 1. So that's going to be the line y equals 1. I'm going to draw that in here as a dotted line right here. My amplitude equals 2. That's the same as my a in this case. Won't always be. So from here I'm going to go up to 1, 2 and do another dotted line. Right? That's how tall it is. That's how deep it goes, right? The height and the depth of this graph. My period, I'll need my b for my period. Looks like my period is going to be right here. It is 1/2 when I flip that over. So 2 pi times b gives me a period of pi. And honestly, that's what I need. Let's get my h as well. My h is pi halves. And so my period is pi. Normally I go from here to here, but I'm going to shift it over pi halves, which gets me from here to here. That's shifting 0 over pi halves to the right and pi over pi halves to the right, and then I graph. So cosine usually starts on the top, and this one does. Let's divide this in quarters, so I'm just going to make it so I can see. It looks like every tick mark. So it goes from top to middle to bottom to middle to top. Let's keep going. Middle, bottom, middle, top, middle, bottom, middle. Going this way. What do we got? I think it's there. Middle, bottom, middle, top. I believe I've done this correct. And we're going to get a graph that looks just like that. But it keeps going. I'll put little arrows over here. Alright. So I've got some maximums and minimums. Looks like I got a maximum at pi halves, which should definitely give me a maximum. That's 1. I should also have one at negative pi halves and 1 right there. Got one every pi, so it's going to be 3 pi halves and 1, and then 5 pi halves and 1. And there's more. Let's write this one down here. So my minimum looks to be 0 plus pi n and negative 1. You know what? I shouldn't have put that at 1, should I? It looks like it has a maximum of 3. So let me change all those 1s to 3. I'm kind of used to that standard graph. There we go. So we got one more down here. It's tangent. All right. So tangent, I'm going to do a little bit different. We're going to figure out the period first. So I'm going to list them right here. We've got A, which is negative 2. We got B, which is 2. We got H, which is 2 pi. And K, which is 2. My period is now pi times B, so my period is 2 pi. All right. My midline, well, let's do midline. It's still going to be this thing. It's y equals 2, so everything's going to kind of occur around that. All right. Let's just go ahead and get some points. My asymptotes, they used to be this. So it used to be, so it's going to be B times, so x equals B, that's 2, right? Times my original one, which was negative pi halves. All right. And then we have to do something to that. We have to move it over h, so plus 2 pi. All right. And it's also b times pi halves plus 2 pi. So these are my asymptotes. This is going to be negative pi plus 2 pi, which is pi. Right? That's going to be what? Pi plus 2 pi, which is 3 pi. That makes sense with my period. So I've got x equals pi, and then x equals 3 pi. I'm going to put them right there and kind of circle them right there. I'm going to go ahead and mark some asymptotes here. So we got one at pi. Boom, 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 boom. We got one at 3 pi. And if I can go 2 pi down lower, which I can't, but it's going to be somewhere around here. There's going to be one right there. Halfway points. So let's go ahead and mark a halfway point. Somewhere in here, right? In fact, I can tell you where it's going to be. Right in the middle here, there's going to be a point. And you get that one from moving 0, 0 over. So the original graph goes through right here. 0, 0 turns into HK. And HK is 2 pi and 2, which gives us 1 point. And then we're going to get either points here and here or here and here, so let's do it. Here's how it happens. You used to have a point here. So you used to have a point at pi, let's go negative pi force, negative 1. And what I do is I multiply it like this. I go B, which is 2, times negative pi force, right, plus H, which is 2 pi, comma, negative 1 times A, which is negative 2, so that's 2 plus K, which is 2. If I look at this, let's see if we can figure this out. Alright, this looks to be negative pi halves plus 2, right, which is going to be 3 halves pi. This is going to be 4. Let's see if that's in the right spot. Well, it sure is. If my asymptote is here, right, then I am going to get a halfway point of 3 pi halves between this and this. And 4 looks good, so it's going to be up here. Now I can run this through and do the other one, but I can tell that my next one is going to be over here. It's going to be kind of on the opposite side over here. So it's going to be 2 down, so from negative 2 it's going to be 0, and it's going to be 5 pi halves, because we have to divide this section into quartiles, like evenly spaced, 2, 3, 4. So there it is. So I'm going to kind of smooth into here, and smooth into there. And that's what I'm going to do as a graph for right now. I could also do the same thing over here. So there's going to be another one here and here and here. And I can smooth into that and smooth into that. I can probably even pull the tail end of this one off over here, so we can get a lot of graph. That's it. I'm going to pause this. This appeared page 3, 10 minutes.